You want this, Chief?
Yes, thank you, Al.
Something on the side of your mouth, Al. No, the other side.
As you requested, Frank, we took some fiber samples.
Well, my coffee ran out, so this is going to be a short video. Hey everybody, how's it going? Todd, the Cheap Drums guy. Yeah. Well, lots of things going on. Your old pal here, Todd. It's got to go into the knife. Somehow. Don't know yet. So today's Sunday. Today's Sunday? Today's Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, 7:15, I got to show up at an imaging office here in town, up at Copper Ridge, and they're going to do a CAT scan of my lungs because I used to be a smoker. It's just, one of those things the VA does. If you smoked at one time in your life or another, they're going to give you just a cancer check. What the hell, it's free. So I'm going to have that done, and then later on I got to meet with my orthopedic surgeon, which is the same one who worked on my wife's leg when she had her accident. She recommended him. She likes him, so we'll see. But it's something strange going on. The VA, every time I have anything done to the VA is very open with me on what's going on, what has happened, what the issues are, and how we're going to take care of it. After I took my initial x-rays of my knees, I haven't heard a thing from my doctor, but they had passed me over to this orthopedic surgeon. So tomorrow I meet with them. Now I think my right is just going to get a cortisone shot, but my left knee, I'm not exactly sure to what extent the damage is, and like I said, no one's told me. So that's going to be interesting to hear and see the x-rays, because I knew back in 1996 I was going to have an issue with this knee. I want to talk about the bass drums a little bit. I have 4 different bass drums, and although every one of them are pretty much the same size, they're all 22 by 16 except for the Pearl, which is a 22 by 18. 2 of them are mahogany, 2 of them one's poplar, one's Marante and eucalyptus. They're all kind of generally the same, but they all sound very different. They all have a brand new bedroom pillow in there, much to my wife's dismay. She's not happy with that, but out of sight, out of mind. But I'm wondering, because I like the real attack is very important with the bass drum. I also like the boomy sound as well. But I want to see which one actually gets a better overall sound, whether it be with the heads tuned the recommended fashion, tuned very, very low or very high, and with or without the pillow. And once I figure out which head combination, how tight to actually tighten the heads, then I'm going to add in the pillow, and maybe will it be a better sound with the pillow running with the circumference of the drum or against the circumference of the drum and against both heads. So I'm going to take a look at that today a little bit, but I might have to move down there because, as you see, I really don't have the freaking space right here. And if I use this one, that means I got to climb all through this frickin' maze of stands and crap to do so. And yeah, I'm not having it, and my knee's not going to have it today. So we're going to have to take it down there. Yeah. Hang out if you want. If not, go upstairs, sit in a recliner, have a tea. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to set the bass drum at its recommended settings. I was going to do super low, but that's a pretty easy one I can save for the end. But for right now, I'm going to set it at the recommended settings, both the batter and the resonant head, with no pillow inside, and see what kind of sound we get just from it. Now, we're going to use our old friend Mr. Drum Dial again, And, oh, Ted, you want it? No, whatever. I like the drum dial. It works flawlessly every time. No fidgeting around. It just works. So I'm going to use it. And for the batter, it says recommended 75 to 80. So let me check, and it probably is already, yep. That one's a little high. There we go. Look at that. Oops. Now with the drum dial, it's not just each point. Each of those, you have to check each of them, but the one directly across one corresponds to it, or they work in harmony, so you got to play with it a little bit. Okay, that's fine for that. It's the same for the resonant head. Man, I really should put a little bit of lubricant on those. Batter head or resonant heads are always a little odd because of the big hole, especially in these premier heads. I really like that because it makes adding pillows or taking them out really easy. And I might use this pillow instead of the big, but my test subject is the Premier Olympic. There's something rolling around inside the, I am not going to drill into that thing and remove whatever it is. It doesn't cause a problem. So, okay, now this is, the heads are set at a factory setting. Both the batter and the resonant head. And this was with no muffling on the inside. A little bit of tap. That's the same settings, but with that small little pillow on the inside. It's not touching either head, it's just in the center. There's quite a big difference there, just with that little pillow. Now let's swap pillows again. And I'll probably just keep this going, just so it's less video I've got there. All right, now we got that big full-size bedroom pillow on the inside, and it's laid in there along the circumference of the drum. It's not touching, well, it actually is touching both heads, but it's around the whole bottom of it. And this is what she sounds like. Ooh. That's got a lot of attack to it. Not a lot of oomph, but she's got a lot of attack to it. So let me swap the pillow around a little bit. All right, now the pillow is switched, so it's going like this. It doesn't really look good from the bass drum standpoint because there's, you look in this big honking hole, and there's a pillow sitting in there. But anyways, quite a bit of the pillow's up against the batter head now. Let's see what it does. Through my ears, that is a much better sound. It's really muffling that batter head. And again, with the large hole, I really don't think that resonance has a lot to do with it. But it's a deeper, boomier sound. Still a lot of attack, more attack than boomy. But anyways, so why don't we crank this head up and see what we got. And then we'll just loosen the crap out of it. So that'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, the head on this drum, it's a Remo Power Stroke P3. Really nice head. Whoever owned this drum prior to me put this on there, and I'm very grateful that person did. Now, Sheila had made mention that she assumed I was an EMAD guy. Well, in a perfect world where I have a big, thick wallet, I would have all my bass drums have EMAD on there. However, it will get a little pricey. I do have 4. I do have the Pearl kit on that 22 by 18 inch bass drum, has an EMAD on it, and the EMAD is absolutely fabulous. But you're looking at $180 to put my other 3 bass drums, put an EMAD on my other 3 bass drums. If I were to get another EMAD, I'd probably get a 16 inch one anyways from one of my floor toms. I do like the EMAD though, but since I don't have an EMAD, how can I get that EMAD sound out of a Power Stroke P3? Well, I'm going to find that out. Now, in between that little snippet, last video snippet and this one, I did a little research into it about cranking up the heads on the bass drum. You really don't need to do that. The tension that it's set on now is already kind of a little high for a bass drum. So I'm going to take it way down a notch. First with the batter head, and then I'll try that without the pillows. And then I'll take down the resonant head. Even though it's got that big old hole in it, I'm really wondering to see what it'll do. And then when it's in that configuration, and then we'll try both pillows and see which the thumpier sound comes out of it. So let me take this down a bit. These are going to be dead head. Ooh. Yeah, those are going to be freaking... Oops. There's like going to be barely anything on this. Why don't I just do this? It's very important to take care of this thing. How do I just go barely finger tight on this instead? Just loose enough where it's not going to rattle. Ooh, yeah, that's about as loose as you can get them without them rattling. So we'll see with that. And if anybody's wondering, yeah, my knees are not having this. All right. So that's pretty much a dead batter head. So this is without any pillows on the inside on a dead head. That does not sound good. Plenty of attack, but why don't I just deaden that front head too? like I said, I really don't think this one has much to do with it, just because of that. Well, you are getting a good vibration off that. Now this, by the logo being on there, it's not a brand new logo or a decal. So that's the original head. And I do like these. Like I said, you could put a pillow in there so easily. All right. Come here, you. All right. This was both heads deaded out. She's flat as a pancake. All right. Can't have that. It's way too loose. I don't think there's really much we can do about it. Now let me put the little tiny one in there. Super dead. It doesn't even sound good at all. Okay, that's what the super dead heads. That's what the super dead heads and the pillow, the big bedroom pillow, running like this, and it's up probably halfway up on the batter drum or the batter head. It's interesting. Now that is all attack. It's very low sounding from my perspective. It's just, it doesn't have any character, doesn't have any life to it. It sounds, I don't know what it really can tell you what it sounds like, but it's all attack, but it's a flat, dull attack, and it's really not too lively. You want something with a little bit more life in it, and that is not it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually put the bass drum batter back to its factory settings. I'm going to leave that front reso flat though, just for the fact that I really don't think it's that important because of that hole. So we'll see. Okay, I tighten the batter head up on the high side of its recommended settings. The recommended settings for this type of head are in the 75 to 80 range. I have this set at 80. The pillow is still up against both heads, and I'm going to turn it here in a minute, but the reso head is still dull and flat with barely any tension on it whatsoever. I think this is going to be a lot of attack. A lot of attack, and it's got a better tone to it. Not as much tone as I would like. It's not real deep and booming, and I think that's because the pillow is really deadening it out. But maybe if I turn the pillow around so it's along the inside of the drum, the circumference, I think it'll be much better. So let me turn around real quick. Oh, my knees. Okie dokies. Yeah. Ouch. Now with it rounded on the inside, there's just, by the looks of it, there's just a minimal amount of the pillow actually touching the head. So I'm trying to find a good deep attack and some nice deep tone to it also. Might have to go without pillow or use the smaller pillow. So then have to try that now. just a small pillow. Seems really high pitched. Could be the batter. I mean, I don't know if it's the beater or not. I should probably invest in a softer beater. This is the one I'm using here. Should get one of those big poofy things, which would probably help it quite a bit. I'm not exactly sure, it's interesting. A lot of drummers, and I use him in reference a lot, is David Ralph. His bass drums, the way he tunes them, all he uses for muffling is a t-shirt. Now, I thought about trying that also, but what is the t-shirt doing? It's cutting down some of the vibrations of the shell and whatnot. I thought the little tiny pillow would be as good, if not better than that. Then again, where he has microphones and he's able to change the sound via the computer through his apps and whatnot, I don't do that. I'm just going off of what I'm hearing above and behind it. And I think, for me personally, I like the sound of it better with the batter at the recommended setting, the reso flattened out, and with the larger pillow in it, with both sides touching the heads. For me, there is quite a bit of attack, but I'm just not getting that deep booming sound. I think I have some memory foam in the garage. I think that might be almost a better option. Maybe to cut a long sliver of it and lay it in there against both heads. You're not getting the cavernous sound, and I think a lot has to do with the fact that it's got that big hole in there. Yeah, because if I do recall, the Pearl bass drum is a 16 by 22, but it doesn't have the big hole like this one does. It has all those little tiny holes. That's the one head I punctured all those holes to make it like one of the attack heads. There was a DW head like that as well. But I think the one thing that's hurting me on this is those large holes. But a tighter batter, looser reso with the big pillow touching both heads. And I think another reason why it worked better that way is because the pillow, when it was up against the resonant head, was kind of closing off a lot of that hole. That hole, that large, if you look at it like this, like a concert tom, your regular toms with both batter and resonant heads, you're going to get that tone because the sound waves, the vibrations are bouncing off each other. Now, if you take that bottom head off or cut a big hole out of that resonant head, a lot of that is going to just more or less right out the hole. The sound is going to dissipate. And I think that's what has happened with this head. Just because of the large hole, you don't get as much tone, you just get a lot of attack. So how can you find a happy medium with both? And I think the only way with that is blocking off half that hole with the pillow running like that. So, but that was kind of interesting, and it all just makes perfect sense. I don't mind. Let me try that with that little pillow in there again. It seems a lot better though. This way you don't get too much of a big reflection off my bald spot. Man, it's really hard to tell. I can't really tell. It's actually a little boomier, I think, this way in the attack. It's a better mix with the smaller pillow well, it'll be more of a poppy sound. but I kind of like that deeper, dead thuddiness too in a lot of the music I play. So I guess to break this down, I think it all depends. It really doesn't depend too much on the heads. I think it just depends on the muffling you use on the inside, whether it be a smaller pillow or a larger pillow. My wife would definitely like the larger pillows back. I know my pillows on my bed probably due for a change, and there's nothing wrong with these. So, yeah, I mean, these are brand new. So maybe I'll stick to a smaller pillow, or Evans does make a small pillow, a dampener for the inside of bass drums. I don't think I really need to go out and buy that though. I've got enough stuff as it is. But it just makes me think of other things that I could use, and I'll explore that a little bit more down the road. But for now, yeah, this is much better tone. I think I'd probably stick with the larger pillow though, just because I don't want the bass drum to be too overpowering. So, but that was kind of interesting though. So I'm glad I did this check. It's the first time in 2 years I've done something like this. Usually I just didn't pay the bass drum too much heed, but you can't, because it's an integral part of the kit and it's very important. But I know now what to do with certain types of music. I mean, am I going to sit there and switch out the pillows? Probably not. I'm just going to sit there and play. I'm not recording anything. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here, and I got to finish the lawn. I got to do the backyard now too. So anyways, I'm glad you hung out with me for a little bit. I'm Todd, the Cheap Drums Guy, coming to you live from Northern Michigan. Broken, beat up. Welcome. I'm still trying to find the fountain of middle age. I miss the Cold War. Anyways, you people have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.